Having dutifully shown up at Master Isegahama's retirement party on Sunday night and hugged with Haruma Fuji there, Hakuho presented himself at a Tokyo hotel on Monday for his own retirement presser. It was an event slickly choreographed by perhaps not only himself, with Master Isegahama appearing alongside him for the opening minutes. Isegahama, from today to be known as Miyagi-no, said, "Hakuho Sho has achieved tremendous sumo things. Were he to remain in the association, he would doubtless develop fantastic wrestlers. That's what I'd always felt. I'm sorry to sumo fans everywhere for being unable to persuade this talent to stay. I always hear about his passion and love for sumo, and how proud he is to be part of it. He wants sumo to be his vehicle to contribute to wider society, and it seems he would like to repay and support the Sumo Association too. I respect the fact he seeks to pursue those goals from outside the fold, but feel it a real pity that I couldn't persuade him to stay. I can only ask that everyone here guide him forwards henceforth. From today, I myself am Miyagi-no and will strive to secure the reopening of the former stable." That was masterfully played by the veteran, whose statement covered all bases, telling sumo chiefs, "Don't you worry, I'm monitoring him today," doing his best to smooth things over while implying Hakuho should have stayed, hugging Hakuho at the end on professional sumo's behalf, and, most importantly of all, leaving the room at that point to indicate neither support nor responsibility for anything Hakuho might say next. I'm calling him Hakuho again, as that is now his official name as an ordinary Japanese citizen. As predicted and legally advised, he refrained from open criticism today, but made some nuanced digs. Firstly, when contradicting the sumo statement issued last Monday, which claimed he'd been informed of a November restart for Miyagi-no stable as early as March. "I only heard about that during the May tournament," he said, by which time he'd long resolved to quit. He did, however, go out of his way to name-check a key ally. "Master Asakayama told me of their plans and acted as mediator throughout," he said. "Asakayama also offered to take on my boys until November, but had his own building capacity issues, hence nothing was ever fixed." Secondly, although denying a rift with Teruno Fuji today, he said, "As my junior, he's done really well," which makes sure to stress what he wants us to know. Thirdly, he casually threw in a hint at discrimination. "The reason so many of my boys retired is because," he said, "they were keen on moving to Oshima stable, but there were voices saying, we don't want him teaming up with another Mongolian-born." Now, while these boardroom-level comments are stupidly ignorant, they also strike us as odd, as most of the board members nodding them through either have trained or are currently training their own Mongolian wrestlers, seemingly with no qualms. They will also happily tell us what a role model Tamawashi is, how unbreakable Teruno Fuji was, how strong Kirishima can be, how skillful and diligent Aonishiki is, and how heroic Shishi has been since his hometown was razed. Which is why Tochinoshin, another foreign-born roundly praised by the sumo board, hit the nail on the head in his explosive video last week. Why only Hakuho? Why is it only him? If you can't find a place in your organization for a 45-time champion, for what do you even exist? There are clearly several layers to this Hakuho Hakkaku rift. Hakuho, deftly as ever, diffused that comment as well by adding, "They wouldn't let me go to Ajigawa stable either," claiming a rookie stable master was not mentor material. Ajigawa, by the way, sends his son to Hakuho Cups, and has often backed them in person. Hakuho's main message, I stress, was one of conciliation. As a sumo coach, he began, "I am truly sorry for inviting the situation in which my stable was placed under Isegahama's control. And I hear the contentions now, that leaving my sumo students behind is an irresponsible act. Can I reiterate then that my affection for my sumo boys remains totally unchanged? I was deeply conflicted about leaving, but I've now resolved that the best path for me is to do my best to develop sumo outside the association." He also accepted the board statement's assertion that he hadn't been pulling his weight of late. "I think that refers to around March," he said, "in which case they're probably right, as I started to feel uncertain at that point. The conversations around restarting my stable had strayed from the path of those of last year. We should note he's holding a party for fans and donors on June the 14th, and that would have taken several weeks to arrange, if you all get my drift." He insists several top business leaders will be stumping up cash for his planned International Sumo League, or World Sumo Grand Slam as he currently calls it. More details forthcoming, he adds. What we can say for now is that his chief backer, Akio Toyoda, is in line to become the chair of Japan's Amateur Sumo Federation, which will help Hakuho no end. Especially if it comes to potentially poaching amateur fighters from the doors of professional stables with the offer of salaries from day one. For now, Hakuho is stressing sumo's origins as a prayer for safety, good harvests, and peace. "I want sumo to help bond the world and spread the hope and the happiness," he says. Let's see what backing he gets and how he's able to manage it.